I am really interested about this game. I'm really interested, I have to say. Now, first of all, you have to know something about me when it comes to gacha. I don't really like the chibi gachas too much. I would rather have a tiny version of the character, but not chibi, right? So when I saw this game at first, I was like, right? But if there's something, if there is something that caught my attention about this game and made me actually excited to play, was looking at the gameplay and looking at the setting and the setup of the game, the theme of the game, the story of the game, the character originality. They're very, very original. I really like the I've grown to appreciate originality way more than I used to. I'm all about it now. Everything that it's original, I dig it. I appreciate it way more. And this game is original as fuck. Not only the story is interesting, the setting is interesting. The characters are really unique. There's plenty of characters. Now, I don't have access to the closed beta, and I didn't have access to the closed beta, so I had to watch a little bit of videos on the people who did, right? And on the X website here, on the X page for Reverse 1999, they always share roles and skill videos. They show you what they do. They show a little bit of skills and like ultimates, and they show you the characters, a little bit of lore, a little bit of information about them. So for now, we just had after the 100,000 pre-registration, which is really nice for a game like this, that I would consider a little bit niche, right? This is probably the same section of popularity as Limbus Company, maybe a little bit more, but I would argue that would be probably there, right? So 100,000 pre-registration is really good for a game of this scale. Of course, that's the first step. They just opened it, right? It was 4 days ago. They got 100,000. So it's going really nice. Then they started releasing characters and showing us the characters, some of the characters that we might encounter in the game. And I'm not going to show the gameplay from the YouTube. We're just going to watch this as an example. For example, this here, they're talking about Sweetheart, which is supposedly supposed to be Marilyn Monroe, I believe. And she comes from the era of... I don't remember. Does it say? Whatever, I think it says here. Yeah, it's probably Marilyn Monroe, yeah. Yeah, 1950s. That's what I saw. 1950s. I forgot where she was. June 1, date of birth. So yeah, they say they show you the characters, and then they show you a little bit of they show the art, and then they show a little bit of the gameplay. And on basically the gameplay is gonna be a side like 2D with a 3D background, in the sense that it's gonna be 3D 2.5 maybe background. Something that I really like are the animation and the fluidity of the animations, the visual effects, and the lighting. The lighting is what captured my interest, because like I've only seen this done once by Artery Gear, which I haven't played, because when I discovered the game, it was more of like, maybe it's too late. I felt like it was too late, so I never played the game. But the gameplay had the same vibe for when it comes to lighting. The lighting is really nice. I love the lighting in this game. Also, the gameplay is gonna be your usual. Actually, it's not your usual. It's basically like your heroes against the monsters, the enemies, whatever they are. And to use those heroes, you have to use cards. Now, I don't know if you have a deck of cards or if they come with cards the moment you put the character in your team. I think that's what it is, right? So you combine different type of cards together, or you play the card depending on what card it is, and you sometimes, if it's not an attack and if it's like a buff, or you combine something and it's a combo, you get a tick You get like one tick of power up on your character, and when the character reaches a certain threshold, it doesn't have to be. I think it doesn't have to be max. But if it's like, let's say 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4, you can do your ultimate, which is this one in this case. Now, sadly, we don't have the HD version for some reason. I don't know, whatever. You get that. You get the idea. So it looks really, really nice, and it's not. There's a lot of really interesting types of damage, really interesting types of mechanics and combination and synergies between characters, and that's helping towards the concept of originality. Now, let's go check a little bit of the story. What is the story of the game? First of all, this is the pre-registration. They got 200k. They don't have a live counter, I believe. So whenever we get it, we're probably gonna get notified on X, right? And on 1 million, we get Matilda for free. What is Matilda? Matilda is a 5-star ice. Maybe that's ice, but there are like original elements and original type of damage. So it's not just the usual elements. It's gonna be weird stuff as well. And this is a character, by the way. This guy is a character. This apple is a character. So yeah. Now the story, for what I've understood by reading this, because if you click this, it leads you to the actual story and talks about the storm. You can also ask the main protagonist, I believe, the captain, let's say, one of the captains, to speak and say something about it.
31st of December 1999. A storm was pouring towards the sky.
Yep, a storm was pouring towards the sky. So is it raining in reverse? So basically, at the end of the year 1999, 23:59, which is basically 1 second before midnight or something, right? December 31st, out of the gap between the two centuries, a storm poured upwards into the sky. From upwards. So it rained it rained in reverse, basically. The next second, all parties, neon signs, and late night buses faded away. The world returned to a strange old era. This young girl, the timekeeper, the only one immune to the storm, has witnessed the beginnings and ends of countless eras. During her time travel, she makes friends with arcanists from different times and countries and then guides them to escape the storm. So there's this girl that is a timekeeper, and we don't know where she comes from exactly. They just appeared, and they don't appear to be affected by the storm. So what is happening here, right? Basically, the storm is making the world go in reverse. So instead of going 2000, etc., we're going backwards. So it's going to be like 1999, 1998, 1997, and go back. So this girl has the ability to switch back into different eras of the 1900s, right? So she can jump between the 20s, the 60s, the 80s, the 30s, the 50s. That's why we encounter a multitude of historical figures. Well, not in the sense of history, but in the sense of like known person, known people from different eras. Let's say Marilyn Monroe and other people. I don't know if there is other examples that are like that crazy. I think there are, but they didn't show them yet. And then they go back talking about the different area and the different eras. They talk about the swing in London in the 60s with like pop art, the hippies movement rose in popularity among the nation's youth, and London became the capital of cool. More importantly, this era witnessed the rise of pirate radio and rock music. This is play on. You can ask the girl to speak again.
I was ordered to record the changes of different times, and that was how I met Regulus from the swing era.
Regulus from the swing era. That's another unit that she meets in this era, in the 1966. And then she goes back to the 30s, the late 20s, the jazz age. Jet's age. On New York, the Big Apple. Every era has its own symbolic city. For the 60s, it was London, while for the 20s, most would agree it was New York. At the time, at that time in the Big Apple, modern science was making the unthinkable into reality. The Ford Motor Company and broadcast radio spread the word across the world. Jazz music playing all night, people dancing to Charleston or on their way to the next party. No one could say no to this carnival. And this basically goes on, and now after that, they approach a little bit of more like why this is happening, what is happening, and how humanity is countering this phenomenon, which is Laplace Scientific Computing Center, and this is the computer center that they're like trying to understand what the hell is going on, right? They are committed to bringing forth a fourth industrial revolution by combining scientific technology with arcane skill. Since the advent of the first storm, which implies that after the first one there has been others, there have been others, the LSCC has enshrined the law of causality as their core theory. Now they search for the reason behind the reversal of time through their algorithms. And at the same time, they have the School of Primary Defense of Mankind, which is where all the time travelers reside. And they, well, not all of them, but there's a bunch of those. It says here, over the course of 1,000 years, SPDM has adopted the countless homeless arcanist children, which are those that have the powers, right? And provided them with the systematic arcanum training. Most of its graduates are seen as role models and sent to work in international organizations such as the St. Pavlov Foundation, Zeno Academy, etc. This is probably lore stuff that we don't know yet. No matter who where they are, the children who grew up in gray and white uniform have never forgotten their motto and principle for the welfare and peace of mankind. And then they talk about the suitcase, which is probably going to be our hub, right? Our headquarter for the gameplay, right? We're gonna go back into the suitcase, which is a special technologic weird thing that it's a dark purple suitcase with diamond check pattern. It can be unlocked by a relatively simple incantation, so it makes like it's about magic, and leads to an implausibly spacious residence, which is this one. In this one, we will be able to do our usual stuff and access, go back and forth from this place and access other places. And on the windows of this suitcase, we're gonna see different backgrounds, but there is one background that stays the same, and it's the spinning wheel. The spinning wheel is a weird phenomenon that is happening in this suitcase, which they don't know why, because usually the content of the window, when you look at the window outside, the background, the scenery is always different. But there's one reoccurring scenario, which is the spinning wheel. And if you go there and click the spinning wheel and like spin the wheel, you can summon arcanists, which means that this is probably gonna be our way of wishing. We're gonna go to the spinning wheel, spin the wheel, and summon an arcanist, which is basically a poll, right? So that's a really nice concept. After reading all of this and checking some gameplays on YouTube and stuff like that, should we check some gameplay? Let me check really quick. I think we should, because it's gonna give like a nice ending to what I'm trying to say, because we haven't really seen verse 1999. We haven't really seen any gameplay so far. I will official reveal trailer 2 months ago, 8 days ago, pre-registration trailer. Let's watch that. Let's watch that one, and let's watch a step out of it. version where you are into you're like inside with like dim lights and outside is raining. That's my favorite. That's my favorite state of being, right? That's my favorite. So I like chill music. I like jazz music because my dad is. Whoa, because my dad is a jazz fan. So I've always been. I always had been brought since I was a kid. Been brought to jazz music like concerts and shit with my dad. So I grew to love jazz at a really young age, and now I'm 32. I have to think because like my birthday is coming soon, so I was like, am I still 32? But yeah, so this is my vibe. That's why I grew up to love this game.
For more blood.
This time.
Now it's getting a little bit concerning. What is happening?
I'm killing people. But nobody gives a damn.
Okay, schizo loli, a psychopath loli. Yeah, well, countdown to the past. Okay, I don't know why this OST by the way is a banger. Now we can go back to what is it? Let's check a little bit of gameplay and then we can wrap it up. I just want you guys to see a little bit of gameplay. So you have the cards and you have those dots, right? This is the ult from this character. Look at the lighting. I love the light. Just because of this lighting, I would play the game. Even if I didn't give a fuck about the settings, the lore, the story, I would still play the game. Also, it's not that chibi. As you can see, they're not chibi. They're small versions of the unit, of the character. So this is fine, I believe. In my opinion, it's fine. It doesn't really bother me. Sorry, I'm choking a little bit. Also, the voice actors are all over the place in a good sense. They have different accents. They speak different languages on purpose.
I'm hungry. Snack time.
Even the ults are really originals. Look, they became food and they're eating them.
Off thou go. Thou shalt make an atonement for thy sins.
So yeah, you saw what I mean, right? I don't know why I like this, but I mean I don't know. I know why. I like this. I like nice lighting. I like 2D is fine. I don't give a fuck about 3D, 2D. I don't want to see all the characters. But if you do, I'm gonna leave this video in the description so you can check all the units and be hyped even more, I guess. But yeah, this was Reverse 1999. Which is gonna be a game coming out soon. Sadly, we don't really have any. We don't really have any release, even though App Store set the game release to be on October 26-ish. I don't remember exactly. I think I saw somewhere there was a comment saying that it was coming in at the end of October. That would be cool as fuck because that would be really good. But App Store also could have just put something there just as a placeholder when you register the app. Maybe it's mandatory, you have to tell them like a random release date. So like take what I said with like a gigantic grain of salt because they might be completely off, right? That was just of a comment that I read. I didn't see it myself. That said, I'm really excited for this game and you should check it out if you vibe with at least one of the good key points that this game has, right? So check it out. I will make videos about it whenever it comes out. It's probably going to be really fun and really interesting to play. So if you like the video, leave a like. If you would want to see more about Reverse 99 or other games that I do on my channel that you like, consider subscribing because that helps a lot. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.